Well, hello everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you guys all had a really nice Sunday, good weekend. My Sunday's just about as chill as can be. I might have to go lay down and take a nap here in a little bit. It's been a little bit cloudy, overcast all day. We've had a lot cooler temperatures than we've been having, and yeah, just one of those lazy Sunday afternoons, which is all right. Today I want to talk about raw food diet mistakes that lead to failure. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you haven't already done it, please go down and hit that subscribe button now. Then be sure you click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. You know, there's a lot of mistakes, and I've done a lot of videos talking about the mistakes here and there because there's always new people coming in. This whole social media thing, YouTube thing, even though you have a bunch of followers, it's like, you know, the algorithm doesn't get it. A lot of people don't see what you're doing. So you're not really repeating yourself by repeating these basics over and over. And, you know, I like to answer. Sometimes I do videos just based on some of the questions and things I get over on Instagram that shows me there's always people that some of this stuff is new to. And speaking of YouTube and social media, that's one of what I'm going to talk about is one of the top mistakes right there. YouTube in general. Now let me break it down before everybody's like, well, what's he talking about? We're watching YouTube. Too much of your information from YouTube. There's a healthy place for YouTube. I learned a lot of stuff over the years from YouTube, especially in the beginning on this lifestyle. But I was mostly always very discerning, especially, I don't remember the first year exactly, but I know after the first year I was very discerning about what I watched and how I watched it. I've never been the type, just like I've always been kind of skeptical, so I'm not an easy follower. I'm not like that person that's just going to be, okay, I'll do it, it sounds good, I like this person. And that's the biggest thing right there. Now, what I'm saying here is not to abandon YouTube, but just to keep it in its proper context and in its proper place. You know, it should be a part of your education, learning how to eat a raw food diet, or basically, you know, just about health in general. But once again, read a book. Read a book. Everybody's, you know, trying, like nobody's consuming content in 2019 in that way. Everybody just wants a quick video here, a little bite there, when, you know, sometimes there's a lot of value in just sitting down and going through a book and having a couple of books around that you can read several times, or you can read different sections over and over. Also, too, I would like some of the people that are on YouTube have some wonderful resources off of YouTube, like Dr. Greger. Dr. Greger, what is it, nutritionfacts.org? I mean, he's got a whole site of short videos and practical information, and there's a lot of people like that as well. Chris Kendall's one like that too. I used to think like, okay, well, why doesn't Chris do more social media, or why doesn't he do more videos? And then you go to his actual site, therawadvantage.com, and there's a lot of content over there. There's a lot of videos over there, and I think there's videos that maybe are not on YouTube. And talking about Chris Kendall, that talks about this, following personalities. Forget this cult of personality when it comes to your health, when it comes to your health in any way, but the raw food is what we're talking about. But stop with this cult of personality and following people just because it's a popularity contest. I mean, going back to Chris again, you know, I've used him as an example before. I've met the guy a couple of times. We've talked for several years, and I like his approach. I think he has a good, solid, rational approach. And biggest thing is he's not telling everybody, oh, you should do it like I do. He shares his information, and he's very knowledgeable. He's very, very knowledgeable. And here's the thing right there. That's where the popularity contests come in. You got a lot of people out there that probably couldn't pass ninth grade algebra or reading comprehension, and people are taking health information from them. Just because somebody's got a million something or whatever, ever big, that doesn't necessarily mean that's who you need to be taking your information. There's nobody out there that I would recommend more highly than Chris. And he's not big at all on social media. If you look at his numbers, I mean, his YouTube channel isn't that big. I don't think any of his social platforms, but the guy knows what he's talking about. So don't be always impressed because, ooh, look how many subs this person has, or ooh, look how many followers this person has on Instagram. And I know to a certain extent, I'm just talking into the wind because we function like that. And our brains will function like that, and there's probably some bias in my head. I probably do that with some things as well myself. Bigger, but bigger is not always better. Your health, eating, this raw thing is not a popularity contest. So balance out that YouTube a little bit. Watch a little bit of YouTube, read a little bit. And I'll tell you another approach on YouTube. Instead of just randomly saying, ooh, I'm going to follow these people and I'll listen to everything they say, use that search option there. Go in and ask your questions on YouTube. See what pops up. Watch 4 or 5 videos, different people you don't even know. See what they have to say. See what makes sense to you. You're probably smarter than you give yourself credit for. Just because you haven't eaten a raw food diet before doesn't mean you don't have any common sense. So another big mistake, and this one seems just like, shouldn't even have to mention it. I've mentioned it over and over, is lack of preparation. So many people fail because they don't ever take that to heart. I don't know if it's like, well, I don't need to do this. I don't need to go to that next level. Do whatever you need. I may not need to do near as much preparation as you do. You might have to go, if you really are serious about what you're doing, you might have to prepare everything. Preparation can be from as general as just, kind of clearing out the bad stuff out of your house and keeping enough good stuff around. But it can go levels and levels if that's not enough. If that's not enough just to, clean out your cupboards, clean out the refrigerator, keep good stuff around, prepare stuff. Have stuff prepared ahead of time. Have meals prepared ahead of time. If you have to, have dressings, have sauces prepared ahead of time to where when you get hungry, instead of freaking out and, oh, well, now I'm going to eat this or I'm going to eat that, you've got it right there. Because, if it's in front of you and you're hungry, you're more likely to go to that thing that you can eat quicker. So be prepared. Be prepared and don't think like you're too advanced or, that's kind of childish or whatever. Do whatever you've got to do to prepare your environment and to prepare, to have food around all the time. Another one is variety. Variety. It's this limited, and I see this so much, and I can pick up little things. I watch this on Instagram a lot, and people that are not getting any variety or that are like, I'm sorry, I'm just not all about this fruitarian thing about we have everything we need in fruit. Theoretically, we might have everything we need in fruit if we lived in the tropics where we were getting it from good sources, where it was coming all, it was ripening on the tree and falling off, but a lot of it, even in the tropics, I'm not sure all the fruit I was getting was the most pristine, full of minerals either. So you got to get, in my opinion, those leafy greens in there. You've got to get the greens in there. And I know I don't get enough. I focus on this and I still don't get enough. It's just, it's been tough here in this area because it's basically kale, spinach, and of course lettuce. And then also too, the fat. People are just a little too freaked out. Like that's always, I know that's not really necessarily variety, but so many people limit themselves on fat. And that's not for me. And I know if you went back through my channel, but you got to think I go in phases and I'll do things for a while. I'm not saying it's going to hurt you to go overt free or fat free for a while. And you could probably go back through my YouTube channel throughout the years and see several periods where I'm going for 3 or 4 weeks, not adding any overt fat. I'm zinging, I'm feeling good. And yeah, I enjoyed it, but you can't do that long term. It just that we need good fat. We need good fat for our hair, for our skin, for our nails. We need a good balance of fat. We don't need to be 0 fat or uber low fat. And also too, we need to pay more attention to those ratios of omega is it omega-6 to omega-3 or omega-3 to omega-6? In other words, we need to get a good balance of those. Most people are not getting enough omega-3s. And like I say, a lot of this stuff is just things that I'm constantly working through myself, things that I've added in, things I've realized. I guess it's been about a year and a half now, maybe a couple of years that I've been a little bit more focused on making sure that I'm getting more of the omega-3s. But get that variety. Don't be afraid of fat. And yeah, just don't limit yourself so much, because you're just, I don't know. I go back and forth on that. Like I say, you can find other videos where I'm talking about, oh, this is all I'm eating right now, and I have 4 or 5 fruits. But also too, like I say, we evolve. My ideas change. I'm constantly listening to my body. How is my body evolving as we do this lifestyle? Because as I've mentioned before, and I'm always going to throw this in too, just because you've done this lifestyle for 5, 6, 7 years, that doesn't mean at some point you're going to find out, okay, I've been doing something wrong, and you can have some sort of a health issue. So try to get that variety. And the last one I'll talk about is I'm talking about all the time, and it's not eating enough. I see so much of this, and I see so much BS around it, or about, like I say, about this alchemy, like, well, you know, my body's going to change, and all of a sudden I'm not going to need to eat all that much, and I'm going to live off the air, and I'm going to live off the sunshine, and all this kind of hippy-dippy type stuff. And hey, you know, that always puts somebody off when I say that. If you're hippy-dippy, go be hippy-dippy. Go be whatever you want to be. But I'd immediately, and I'm not that person. I have people reach out to me on Instagram, and I'm not that typical YouTuber person that's like, well, you should do this. When I see that people aren't eating enough, no. I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth and be telling them, well, you're not eating enough. Number one, it's not my business, and number two, it really doesn't affect me. But there's too many people that I've seen in this last 7 years fail at this raw food diet because of that, because they don't eat enough food. And even when it's apparent that you know, they're emaciated, they're wasting away, they're not healthy. That's the biggest thing too. They're very frail. They're not healthy, but they're just like, nope. And they're waiting for this day when they break through. You know, I'm going to break through, and all of a sudden I'm going to be okay. And that's not going to happen. So you need to eat enough food, and eating enough and eating the variety go hand in hand, because I kind of go back to another one I throw in a lot. It's the book Whole by T. Colin Campbell, which instead of chasing your nutrients every day, like, oh my God, did I get enough of this today? Did I get enough of that? Oh, I didn't eat this. I better go eat this. You just try to eat the calories, the amount of food that's sufficient for your size, for your activity level, for your age, and you get a variety. You get all the colors in there. You eat the greens, you eat the fruit, and if you're eating enough food and that variety, that we should be getting everything we need. But still, at some point, it's a crapshoot too, and we got to do our homework. I'm constantly adjusting. I'm constantly learning stuff that's new. And if I ever do contradict myself, I don't care, because I'm not going to ever be like so ego driven that I'm like, well, I've said this before, so no, I'm not going to go back on what I've said. But those are the mistakes. Those are some of the mistakes. There's so many mistakes out there. Just have an open mind. Don't get too caught up into the raw food diet as a thing, as a community, as a world, just look at it as what it is. It's a lifestyle, hopefully, for, bringing you better health. What did you come to it for in the first place? But anyhow, just my 2 cents worth on that. I hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, I'd appreciate if you give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.